I did a tour of the garden earlier and did not really get to this food forest part of the garden. I feel like I did some footage of it a long time ago, but I seem to have lost that footage, so I'm going to try it again and take you on a little tour here of the food forest. The sun is really bright going that direction. This tree here is a relative of the lychee, or lychee, whichever one you want to call it. It's called longan, and I think the longan has sort of like a dinosaur-like smooth skin compared to the lychee and the what's the other one called? Rambutan. Rambutan has like not thorns, but like kind of spines on it. It's not sharp, but they each have a very similar fruit. It's like a jelly-like fruit with a pit in the middle, and they're delicious. I mean, they're kind of got this flowery flavor to them. This one doesn't have any fruit on it, and I don't know when it flowers and fruits, but it looks like it's doing really well. And these trees were planted in 2010, like the garden over there, and so this is the growth of 7-8 years of season in Florida. And there's a little plant here. This one here is a jackfruit, and that was just planted, obviously. This plant here is called yucca, and it has a starchy tuber. These I found growing in Nicaragua when I was there. They were commonly planted everywhere. You can just cut these branches up into little sections and just stick them in the ground, and they will root and start new yucca plants. And this plant back here, this tree, is tamarindo, which is a nitrogen fixer. And it has a delicious seed pod. I also ate a lot of that in Nicaragua. They would make a fresco out of it, which is like a cool drink. It's got kind of a tart or sour tasting paste that lines the insides of the shell of the bean pod. And you can make other, like it's used in Indian cooking, and you can make chutneys out of the paste. It's really delicious. This here is Carambola, also called starfruit, and it was fruiting quite a bit when I first got here, and they were harvesting the fruit. It's really delicious. I find this variety, when it turns kind of an orange, it has a very flowery flavor as well, and it's also tart. But these carambolas are commonly grown around here. It seems like a lot of people have them. There's one that I ran across while I was riding around, and it was a huge tree, and it was dropping tons of fruit on the ground, and the person there just put the fruit out on a chair, and anybody could go by and pick it up. And let's see. Oh, this looks like another yucca here. They must have started. There's a couple of them. This is, I was told, some kind of a citrus. I think it's like a wild variety of orange. I think you could use the leaves of it, but I don't know how useful the fruit is. This one is a mango that's not flowering right now. It might not be, either it's not its season or it's just not a big enough tree to start flowering. There's another mango over there that is flowering and fruiting. This is a loquat. And this one's not fruiting either. There is another loquat on the land that's got clusters of yellow fruit on it. They're kind of tart, and what do they remind me of? They kind of remind me of a grape, the flavor of a grape. This, I believe, is an avocado. It doesn't have any fruit on it currently, but it seems like it's pretty big, and I have no idea what time of year it fruits. These here are called golden necklace pod. They have these little pods here, like bean pods. I don't know if you can see those very well. So this, when I got here, was flowering. It has yellow flower, which is why it's called yellow necklace pod. And then it has these pods that look kind of like necklace beads. And this is apparently a native plant, and they're growing it here as part of this food forest because it's a good crop for adding nutrients to the soil. They do the chop and drop thing for the permaculture to add carbon and other nutrients to the soil. And there's another tamarind back there. This is the mango right here that I said. It's in flower again. It just keeps on flowering, but it's already got these fruit on it, you can see. And these started forming probably like late January, and now it is early March. So hopefully before I leave these will ripen, but I don't know. I'm not counting on it. There's a bunch of smaller ones that are getting dropped on the ground. The tree must be overloaded with the amount of mangoes that it has now, so it's dropping some of its fruit. And this plant here is one that I found in Nicaragua as well. It's called Pigeon Pea. It's not doing too well, and there's some other flowers there. It's called Gonduse in Nicaragua. I brought back seeds of it and tried to grow it a few times in Wisconsin. Obviously, the climate was not the best in Wisconsin for it. It needs about 6 months before it even flowers and fruits. One time I planted it in our greenhouse, and it actually got to the point of flowering by the end of the season, but really didn't have enough time to produce any bean pods. And you can eat the sort of like I think you can eat it sort of like a shelling bean. And this here is Moringa. I was talking to you about that in the garden tour. And they plant it here and just chop it back and continue to chop and drop it. And then they also harvest the leaves and dry them in their dehydrator over there, the solar dehydrator. And it's a superfood. Apparently, Bill says it's like one of the most nutritious foods that you can eat. So they often say that about superfoods. And you wonder how true it is. There's some more pineapples down here on the ground. This is a bamboo, obviously. They cut down some of this and were using it as posts for the line that they stretched around as a border around the garden to keep people from wandering into it. But you can see how huge bamboo gets here. This is really good diameter for useful bamboo for building, for stakes for your garden. You know, like I've said many times, I just don't understand why people don't plant fruit trees everywhere. It's so easy, apparently, to grow all of these different amazing fruit trees here. And they're doing it. They're doing it in this space, and everything seems so lush, and it's probably productive as well. They're going to get a good harvest of local fruit. So why not do that? I'm going to be going to this gathering of an organization called ECHO that is located in Fort Myers, and it's basically like a demonstration garden, 50 acres of tropical fruit trees, every variety and type of tropical fruit tree that you can imagine. So I'm hoping to make some good video there and take you on a little tour. I don't think I can take you on all of it, but it should be pretty amazing. And this is an amazing permaculture food forest, but I have the feeling that ECHO is going to be just outstanding and way beyond what I could possibly imagine. I'm looking forward to that. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and plant fruit trees whenever you can. See you next time.